Yes, you read that title correctly. Jesus is better than grades. Now, I do believe I need to start out with a little bit of a disclaimer here, and there should almost be some fine print at the bottom here, that in no way am I saying that grades are not important. Okay, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying you should not worry about school or worry about that test you've got on Monday. If I said that, your parents would probably be calling me, and I don't want any of those phone calls. But what I am saying is, how often do we take something that's good, something that's right, like grades, and we elevate it above Christ in our life? We lift those good things, those right things, to a wrong position, and we put them above Jesus. How often do we do that? For me, one such area was grades, was school. I literally made my quarterly report card an idol. It was a huge idol in my life. How did I get to that place? Well, let me take you back to a far-off, distant place that some would call 1987. I know it's hard to picture that now, but I wasn't as handsome, as buff, or as athletic as I am today. Why are you guys laughing? I wasn't the cool kid. I wasn't the athletic kid. I wasn't the funny kid. I wasn't the boy that the girls chased after. I really was only noticed by other kids for one thing and one thing only, and that was I did well academically in my classes. It didn't take long for me to realize that I could get attention from even the cool kids at school, even when I succeeded on exams and did things with schoolwork. I became obsessed, literally, I became obsessed with making sure I was the highest grade on exams and I was the highest grade in my classes. I worried a ton about this issue. I stressed over this daily, even during the summer. I wanted to be the academic version of Michael Jordan. Now that's going to be a whole other video for another day. But Michael Jordan, in his heyday, when he stepped on the court, he basically could look around and say, "You're all toast. I'm going to crush every one of you." And he would go out on the court and do it. When I walked into a new class at the start of the school year, I would say to myself, "You're all toast. Bye-bye curve." Can you tell that at the root of this whole issue was my pride? Really, it all boils down to my pride. It didn't faze me in the least to sin in such ways in order to get what I wanted. This consumed me. It really got to the point where it didn't really matter if I actually learned anything in my classes. I was there just to get the A. I was there to be the top person. I just wanted the good grades. I was distracted. This truly consumed my life. Needless to say, I didn't grow very much spiritually during that time, during my junior high and high school years. I was saved at the age of 12. At the age of 12, I professed Christ as my Savior, as my Lord. But unfortunately, I wasn't a part of a good church. I wasn't a part of a good youth group, didn't have a lot of Christian friends. And so there was no growth in my life during that time. I drifted spiritually for 7 years. I like to think of it now as the 7-year drought in my life. It really wasn't until I started attending church again after many years during my sophomore year in college that I realized I had some serious spiritual issues here, and I needed to knock them down. I needed to get these idols put in their right perspective and loft Christ as number one in my life. Now, a little side note, it didn't hurt that at the same time, this is when I met Mrs. Hume in Calculus 2 class. And I quickly learned that I can't always be the top person in the class. Because trust me, and for those of you that know her, she is way smarter than me. She would beat my score on exams. I would read through the book, the textbook, I would highlight all the main points. Mrs. Hume would follow behind, take that textbook, read my highlights. She would score a higher score on the test than me. It frustrates me even to this day. That was a very humbling experience. By the way, she was the one that got me back to church. And that's a whole other story for a whole other video for a whole other time. I remember the first verse I put to memory when we started attending Faith many years ago. It was 2 Corinthians 5:9, where it says, "So we make it our goal, we make it our aim, we make it our ambition to be pleasing to Him." Whether at home in the body or away from. In other words, no matter what, our job in life is to be pleasing to Christ. Did you catch that? Life isn't about pleasing yourself, it's about pleasing Him. I still struggle with the issue of pride in my life, but I continually come back to the truth of 2 Corinthians 5:9 of making it my goal to please Him and not myself. And I seek to keep Christ number one in my life above everything else, even myself, even grades. So to wrap up, let me just ask you, what are those good things, those right things in your own life that you're lifting up above Christ? What are you lifting up as a higher priority than Christ? And what are you doing to make sure that Christ regains that rightful position as number one in your life? Finally, let me just remind you that we also do live under the truth of 2 Corinthians 10:31. It says, whether therefore you eat or drink or whatsoever you do all to the glory of God. And all includes even school. It includes grades. Are you attacking school with excellence? Are you working hard for God's glory and not for your own? Thanks for listening to me. And make sure that when you do go home this afternoon, that you do sit down and get all of your homework done and do it well.